Yo, Raider Nation, what is good, man? We are bringing you an exciting show tonight. We've got a lot to talk about. We're going to wrap up week 2. I'm going to bring Farrell on. We're going to discuss the preview for the Tennessee Titans. But first and foremost, Raider Nation, we do have a brother in and among Raider Nation that we do need to pray for. And when I say we need to pray for him, I'm not just saying that to throw it out there to be cool. I mean, we genuinely got to pray for him. So, Afakazi Raider, man, if you're listening, if you decide to pull in, just know that we're praying for you. The Raider Nation has your back. I have your back. We love you, brother. And everybody go show Afakazi some love. But look, guys, we have a great show in line for you. Me and Farrell are going to discuss all things. We're going to wait for the chat to pull up. Today, you guys, we're on the road to 1K. I mean, we're 3 subscribers away. I really do think that tonight is going to be the night that we hit that limit and we could kind of celebrate with each other. But before all that, man, before all the celebration and all the pats on the back, man, we have a good show to bring you. And I'm going to bring in my brother and my co-host, Farrell NFL. Farrell, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing great, man. How about yourself, man? How's everything going with you?
I'm good, bro. I took a little Raiders vacation. You know what I mean? After our text messages, after the
Man,
game,
you went silent, man. After that game, you went silent.
bro. Sometimes the Raiders do that to me, dude. Like, there's times I'm so fired up, but then just how we've lost the last 2 weeks, I was like, you know what? I need to take a little Raiders vacation. I need a little I need a breather. I would have came on that post game live show and would have been talking reckless, said some things that I probably regret.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Let me just gather my thoughts, gather everything, and we can reassess this on Friday, which we're here tonight. So shout out to everybody who decided to pull up and will pull up tonight, man. Go and share where we're at tonight. Raider Ray and Farrell NFL are live doing a preview for the Tennessee Titans, and we're going to have a phenomenal show. So Raider Nation, let everybody know where you're at tonight and go over to Farrell NFL and subscribe to his channel. So,
Appreciate that.
Farrell, first and foremost, man, week 2. I mean, we were messaging and things were going. It couldn't. When I say I was chilling on the couch watching this game the first half, my feet were up. I was sitting back on my phone. My wife was like, "Oh, I'm not even going to watch this game." She goes away and starts doing other stuff. I literally thought the Raiders had this in the bag. And for some reason, as we were exchanging messages, I was like, man, I got this gut feeling that this second half, something's going to happen. And sure enough, the Raiders ultimately take a loss to the Arizona Cardinals. Tell me how you feel about everything.
Yeah, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like I told you this like earlier before the show started. I was like, how are we both right and wrong at the same time? Like before the game, if y'all remember from the previous preview show on my channel, I was like, man, I have a feeling this is gonna be a blowout. The Arizona Cardinals don't stand a chance against our team. Like if you look at it on paper, and at the same time, Raider Ray was trying to calm me down because he was like, man, that week 1 performance got me a little nervous. But we both like at the end of the day, we picked the Raiders to win. But man, up 20-0, I'm over here texting Raider Ray. I'm like, hey, bro, like this is the type of game I want to watch. And then the rest is history, man. Like,
Just to call out how bad it was, our text messages at before half, man, we're sending each other gifts about lighting the place on fire and this is how you put your foot on people's throat and come to find out, man, Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals really it was the Raiders dropping an egg, man. The coaching staff, the players not being, the offense specifically not being on the field for 30 minutes in the second half. That's just ridiculous. Almost made no halftime adjustments. The Cardinals were still getting penalized. You could see the frustration on Cliff Kingsbury's face, and still they overcame that. I even looking back on the game, it frustrates me. Like just thinking about a few situations that I just have these mental images of an extremely mad, upset Cliff Kingsbury who's fighting to get back in a game. And the whole time I'm like, 20 points is going to be kind of tough. And slowly but surely they started chipping away at it, and ultimately got the dub in overtime.
but you know what doesn't get done, man? Like I looked up the stat before the game and like literally Kyler Murray threw the ball 49 times. We we sacked him 1 time and hit him 5 times.
It's
49
uncalled.
times.
Now, granted, I will say this though. Here's my a bit of pushback. Going back and watching the film, the game plan was to kind of keep him in the box. Kind of what we talked about pre-game show was to run a formation, We kind of talked about they might not get after the quarterback as much as what we expect because they're going to be running a contained defense, and that's what they did. I know that Chandler Jones got a lot of criticism, but if you actually go back and watch the film, he played pretty disciplined with what Patrick Graham was asking of those guys. I personally believe Max Crosby had multiple opportunities to actually get his hands on Kyler Murray and get him down, but at the last second, Kyler was able to make a move and ultimately get away. So I know he's getting a lot of criticism. I know he's getting paid $17 million a year. That game plan specific, this matchup against the Tennessee Titans, though, let's hold our judgments till this week. And if Chandler Jones can't get after a Ryan Tannehill going up against a backup left tackle, then we have some serious concerns.
No, I hear you, man. But it's just at the end of the day, like the way I looked at it, because I know a lot of people are talking about the offense and how they let the defense down. But man, to me, in my opinion, I think it was an ultimate team loss.
It was.
The coaching staff, the quarterback, the offense in general out of sync, the O-line, that 7-man rotation, I just don't like it. You know what I mean? Like I know
again, where's Malcolm Kuntz at? You have a defense who had 51 plays in the second half, right? In the second half of football, your defense is on the field for 51 plays. Clearly they're gassed. Okay, and we see no rotation.
Yeah.
At that situation, when you got the game like that, get a fresh pass rusher in there. Get a Malcolm Kuntz. Let him get after Kyler. Let his job be to literally just pursue Kyler. It didn't make sense. The 2-point conversion, you drop back Chandler Jones and Max Crosby, and you rush 3, and it's your big defensive tackles. They get gassed in the first 6 seconds, and I'm specifically talking about that 20-second play where Kyler was just playing Madden in the backfield and scrambled in. So.
See, that's coaching though.
It is coaching.
Because that's a complete 180 from last year where the whole philosophy was to keep the D-line fresh, and it worked. It keep guys like Max Crosby would be in the fourth quarter like rushing like he's in the first quarter. You know what I mean? Just because they kept rotating him, that D-line, the D tackle room last year. This was last year, but this year you're noticing that Max Crosby's playing the whole game. Yeah, almost damn near. I mean, if we look, I don't want to go get too much into the details, but like damn near played the whole game. Same thing with Chandler Jones. But like you mentioned, I don't know what's going on with Kuntz. If you kind of like take it all the way back to even the previous coaching staff, he didn't really get on the field with them as well. I don't know what it is with Kuntz. Is it a personality thing? Is he not doing certain things that like will keep him on the field, to get him on the field? Because we could see that he can rush the passer.
Oh, for sure. And I wonder,
there's no reason why Bowser's could like literally get 8 snaps, and then Kuntz is playing just special teams. That's it. That's all he was playing.
You're probably right. I'd imagine, like, honestly, this is my take. I think that this is an organization that really puts an emphasis on practice. Like, if you practice well throughout the week and you show up and put in the work, I really do believe that they reward you for that. So is this an aspect that Malcolm Kuntz just isn't one of those players that, go 110% at practice each and every single day? Or is he just one of those guys that show up when the lights come on? And, like there are players that are like that, right? There's guys that when it matters, they show up. You know what I mean? They might not be the best practice players, but I don't know. Whatever the situation is with Malcolm Kuntz, man, we got to get him involved. 17 of you in the building, man. 17 of you. We should have 17 likes. We're free over here. We just ask that you support the channel, man. We are 3 subscribers away from 1,000. Yes. So if any of my moderators are in the building, let me know tonight if we do get to surpass that. I have this gut feeling that we're going to be able to. So I'm going to address these chats real quick. Sean Johnson says, hello, Raider Ray and Pharaoh. Hope all is well. Looking forward to a great show. Congratulations on approaching 1K, Raider Ray. Well deserved. I appreciate you, Sean Johnson. Van City says, Ray, just wanted to pop in and show some love. Out for dinner with the fam. Gonna watch the replay for sure. I appreciate that. He says, and if you get that 1K, congrats, my brother. I appreciate that, my friend. Yes, Cash Lord says, what's good with Ray and Pharaoh? What's good, Cash Lord? I'm glad that you decided to pull up. Coach Dante says, what up? What's going on, brother?
What's good, Dante?
Jesse says, Raiders all day, baby. That's right. That's what we're here for. D-Menace says, what's good, fellas? What's going on, bro? Salute, fam. Let's see. Cash Lord. Remember last week, boy? Cash Lord was coming after DC.
Hey, man, that's his thing, though. You know what I
know.
mean?
Hey, I'm going to hold off on that. I'm going to hold off on it. Javier says 1,000 subscribers. Did we break it? Did we actually
break it? Oh, man, because I know I put out a public service announcement on my IG story.
If we
Let me
broke it, man, that'll be
hold on. Let me refresh.
I'll
You at
redo.
1K.
Hey,
Hey.
1K, man.
Congratulations,
Supporting the
brother.
show. Shout out to the Chaz, man. Shout out to Raider Nation, man. We're at 1K.
Congratulations.
Oh man, how awesome is that? But look, man, now we got to get Pharaoh there. So everybody that's subscribed to me, all 1,000 of you, man, go on over to the Tomb, subscribe to Pharaoh
Yes, sir.
NFL, man. I appreciate you guys so much, man. It's been a short journey, but long journey. There's been a lot of work that's been put in. But man, we're finally here. But this is just the beginning, man. We're gonna keep this pushing. Sean says I could tell in the TV copy that Chandler was playing contained. People were bugging about him. Facts. I mean, at what point is it your fault when the defensive game plan is to play contain on a quarterback? I do encourage people to go back and watch the film because there's some good things on film. I want to encourage people. There's actually some good things. D Menace says Jones did his job on Sunday. I agree. Even though it's not pretty, it's not what
he didn't do it 100%.
Dude, I know. Look. He didn't do it the sexy way. We weren't getting sacks and everything.
No, it's not even. I'm not even talking about the sacks. Like his job was to contain, and the D line in the second half. Whether you point to them running out of gas or not, like they lost contain of Kyler Murray. You know, so
to his credit, on the play that was 20 seconds long, Patrick Graham dropped Max and Jones back into the red zone into coverage, and then you rushed 3. So it's like some of it, look, like I get it. It is on the players. Some of it is coaching, which we'll get into the coaching aspect because I think that the coaching aspect is a crucial reason why the Raiders are sitting at 0-2 right now. GA Patriot says, "What's good, Ray Pharaoh?" Javier, let me know. 1,000 subscribers. Afakazi's in the building. Hey, Ray, just pulling through to show some quick love. Thanks for reaching out the other day. And hey, bro, we shouted you out at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, shout out to Afakazi, man. That's a good dude, man. Always showing love. You know what I mean? I didn't know personally what you was going through, but you know, man, prayers out to you, my brother.
Yeah. Avakazi, I let everybody know that we're praying for you, bro, and we don't just say it to say it. I genuinely want you to know that I'm praying for you, and if you need anything, man, just reach out. You always know I'm one message away. GA says, I'm so ready for the drive to Nashville Sunday morning. Oh, you're going to the game, dude. That'll be fun.
Oh, that's dope.
GA says, congratulations on 1K, Ray. Man,
hey,
that's
man,
weird.
1K, that's a big number, man. You put in a lot of work.
That don't even make sense to read that. That's cool, though. D-Minutes, the new regime keeps talking adjustments. I didn't see any adjustments in the second half. Facts, bro. We're going to get into that as well, man. Oh, my gosh, bro. The chat's low-key blowed up. I'm kind of behind a little bit. Tannehill's no cakewalk. He plays tough. He'll run over someone for a first down. We'll take a big hit. We got a tough matchup. He is no Kyler Murray. He is no Justin Herbert. But the boy is underrated when it comes to utilizing his legs, and he is a tough football player.
He was a former receiver in college.
Yeah, he's a great.
He played wide receiver. So the guy, like you get him, he can rush. He can move. Like you can consider him a mobile quarterback. He's probably not as mobile as probably like a Kyler Murray. Obviously, there's that he's a one of one, but.
Anthony, I haven't seen you in a minute, bro. I'm glad that you decided to pull up. I haven't heard anything from Kuntz since that video got leaked about McDaniels yelling at him. Do you remember that, bro?
Yeah, he was pissed, bro. He was pissed.
Jesse celebrating. Raphael says, congratulations, my brother Raider Ray. Congratulations, man. Just keep up the work. I'll be watching the both of you. Man, I appreciate that, man. And everybody go over to Pharaoh. It's awesome to see everybody showing the love, man, showing the support. Raphael says El Capitan is here to support you and Pharaoh. Salute the most dangerous duo with an excellent opinion on the Raider Nation. I appreciate that, my friend. And NorCal says salute Ray, salute Pharaoh. So, man, let's get into it, man. I just want to address the chat, let everybody get their voices heard, let their opinions out there. Overall, man, week 2, let's just do a quick recap. I know we kind of talked about it. Any last opinions on week 2 before we focus our attention over to week 3 against the Titans?
I obviously this, all Raider Nation has been going through it since Sunday because it was just a terrible loss. One of our worst loss. You know what I mean? If you think about it, like I think Josh DuBois, he put a tweet out there saying that the Raiders never lost a game after leading 20-0 or something like that, or something crazy. Like we were pretty much, or being up like 20 points in the fourth quarter, something to that extent. But that being said, it's more the same, man. Like that was a complete team loss. Coaching, offense, defense, they didn't show up in the second half. And I remember you hit me up like it was in the fourth quarter OT. You were just like, man, I think the Raiders are going to lose. You know what I mean? And the momentum has shifted. Overtime happened. I just didn't understand, like, why wouldn't you give the ball to your best player? Why wouldn't you give the ball to Devontae Adams? Why are you giving it back to back? You know, I like Hunter Renfrow, but the guy, he's not a big guy, and he just fumbled, and you're just gonna go back to him. I don't get not getting Devontae Adams involved. Like, he had 7 targets. To be honest with you, I think Adams should get at least 10 plus targets a game.
Right.
He's the best player on the team. He's the Shaquille O'Neal of the team. He's the Kobe Bryant. He's the LeBron James. Like, let him eat, and then everybody else will eat. That's how I look at it. And for him to get 7 targets, and it's okay. There's probably gonna be some games where we win and he's not gonna get as much targets. But the fact that we were losing and he didn't really get it, like the first half, okay, we're winning 20-0, but then the second half, when we couldn't get our offense going, like, why is he not getting any targets? Why is he not getting involved? And then the run game. Like, where is this run game? Where are all these 5 running backs that we kept on the roster? Why are they not being utilized?
Well, to be fair, I think Josh Jacobs is doing good. I think he's running hard.
I agree.
He needs to be fed. You know what I mean? This offense, I believe, needs to have an identity in that run game, which is extremely surprising that they haven't put more of an emphasis on it. It's nothing what I expected at all. You know, this I don't want to dwell on the first 2 weeks for too long. However, I'm a big fight fan, right? And this felt like the start of the fight. You know, a fighter comes out, and it's a guy who's known to finish fights early and kind of fades. Let's give an example of like a Conor McGregor. It really felt like the Raiders came out, they landed their shots, they landed big ones, they had the Cardinals hurt, but the Cardinals survived, and then you seen the dip. You know what I mean? The Cardinals drug the Raiders down into the deep end where the Raiders felt like they couldn't swim anymore, and they drowned them. And that's something that the Raiders can do. We have to see a Raiders football team that's ready to come and play for 4 quarters. It's an extremely underutilized and under talked about aspect. We can talk about Devontae. We can talk about the defense. If both sides and the coaching staff included into this conversation, if both sides do not show up to compete for 4 quarters, we can't expect much.
Facts, 100%. And when I mentioned the run game, I wasn't really getting on the Josh Jacobs or the running backs. I'm getting on that's coaching.
Right.
Why are you not committing to the run, especially when you up 20-0? I'm not saying don't let your foot off the gas pedal. Like, still be aggressive, but incorporate the run game. You're up. You know what I mean? There's no and I know a lot of people were getting on the offense, and you know what I mean, like they weren't effective. But the part of the reason is that every time we went on offense, we were just going 3 and out and not passing the ball well. But obviously, we weren't even running the ball. So at the time, we were actually helping out the Arizona Cardinals because we weren't even like killing the clock at all. Like, it was just like I just couldn't believe what I was watching.
Remember in the first half too, that when we were exchanging messages, we were like, look at the time of possession. Like, the Raiders were balanced. They were running the football. They were getting the ball out quickly into the open receiver's hands. Everything that we really talked about on the preview show. I mean, it was happening in the first half, and they were finding success. The second half, to go into shotgun and just to throw it 3 plays and go 3 and out, I believe we had a drive of 24 seconds, and then the Cardinals really go and start to score to get back into the game. And it's like, in my opinion, when you're up 20 points, Josh Jacobs is known as a closer. Feed him the rock. Like, wear down on that defense that was already getting beat up in the first half. I don't know, man. I don't want to dwell too much on it, man.
Let me give you a stat before we move on. So we're talking about the run game and how it needs to get going. Literally, the Raiders are 31st in the league in rushing attempts with 34. So that should tell you a little bit of how the Raiders are kind of failing in that department. You know what I mean? Especially when you see Josh Jacobs, he looks great. He's been looking good all the way from that Hall of Fame game. You're like, man, Josh Jacobs look real good out there. He looks quicker, more explosive. He's cutting. His vision looks nice, but they're not committing to it for some reason. Whether it's Josh Jacobs, whether seeing that rookie out there, like giving him some carries, they're just not committing to it for some reason. Maybe it has something to do with that, 7-man rotation and the communication issues that they have throughout that game. Because I'm waiting for that to stop, to be honest with you.
The rotation on the offensive line.
The 7-man, we need to stick to 5, bro.
It's
We need to stick
driving
to
me
5.
nuts. No, I agree with you, bro. I agree. Well, that's a kind of a segue. There is a comment here that says, I'm ready to forget about week 2. And you know what? Right now, we're washing our hands, Raider Nation. The first 2 weeks, we're putting it in the rear view. We don't even have to address it no more. We might reference a few things from the previous games for some things to look for. But we're as far as just dwelling on the negative aspects of the first 2 weeks, hey, we're jumping right into what to look forward to against the Titans. Daniel Kim says, salute Ray and Pharaoh. Salute to you, Daniel.
Salute, Daniel.
Anthony says that Tanny is getting benched after halftime. Hey, we'll see.
Man, I
Hey,
hope,
I
man.
kind of hope not, because Malik Willis, he can make some plays with his legs, and I think that's the last thing I want the Raiders to go against right now is another quarterback that can make plays with their legs.
QB.
Yeah, I'm done watching that. I don't want to see
Man,
that.
that's annoying.
Turbo says Raiders better win this Sunday. If not, we're going to be in a really bad spot, which we can't afford. Being in Derek Carr better step up, and I know he will this Sunday. Our defense better step up as well. It's an overall team effort, man. If we go 0-3, Carr going to be in the junkyard. Hashtag NFL draft. Hey, we'll see. All right, man. It is time. We're going to get into week 3, man. We're moving on. And really, the first aspect that I want to bring up to everybody's attention is a very interesting one. It's one that the Raider fans should be extremely familiar with, and that is Todd Downing, the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans, former Raiders offensive coordinator when it was an absolute disaster. I'm sure everybody remembers that. And now you're kind of seeing a little bit similar situation over in Tennessee right now. They're feeling the weight of the Todd Downing signing, which is a benefit for anybody going against the Titans. Now, the matchup is Todd Downing versus Patrick Graham. And if Patrick Graham coming into this offseason with all this hype of how multiple he is, of how he can get after the quarterback, creative with blitzes, yada, yada, the 3-4, the 4-2-5, the 4-3, we heard every, it was almost like Patrick Graham runs every defense. He's good at everything. He's great. The Raiders defense is going to be good. And the fact of the matter is we've been outcoached. So Todd Downing, if Patrick Graham cannot get it done versus Todd Downing, this is going to be it's going to be a big telltale for the Raiders season moving forward, especially on the defensive side of the football. So what do you feel about this matchup? Do you feel like Patrick Graham has an advantage? How do you feel about Raiders defense versus the Titans offense?
I think you said the Raiders defense versus their offense.
Right.
I'm kind of nervous about this game, to be honest with you. And part of it is because the experience that the Tennessee Titans have with their coaching staff. They're a tough football team. They love to run the ball. Obviously, they're 0-2, and they've been struggling a little bit. Not a little bit, a lot of bit. They just got blown out by the Bills. And in my opinion, I think our defense needs to really emphasize stopping the run. We need to take out Henry out early, like make them one-dimensional early, force Tannehill into turnovers, force them in 3rd and long. This has kind of been I've been saying this like week in and week out with other teams as well, but especially with this team, they literally thrive off Henry just grinding every yard out. Like, he gets better as the game goes on. So Perryman being out this week is huge. You know what I mean? That's just a huge loss. That puts Diablo in the basically, he's going to be on that spotlight. He's going to be the guy that he needs to step up there. Be honest with you, it's a team. It's going to be defensive. It's going to be a team thing. It's going to be a team. They got to stop him as a team, obviously, because that dude's a monster. That front 7 is going to be huge. It's going to be one of the biggest matchups of the game, in my opinion. But I think Diablo has to step up. This is a big game for him. He's not. We know he's not going to step up in the as a pass defender, but at least as a run defender, he needs to step up and be part of shutting down Henry this week.
Since Derrick Henry's foot surgery, he's been averaging 3.1 yards a carry, which is something that I think people need to look into more. While I do think King Henry is a phenomenal running back, absolutely love his style. That injury has done something to him. Hopefully this isn't the week that he bounces back. Hey, it could. You know what I mean? Some key aspects to how the Raiders can actually get after him. The guys up front, the big boys, Jonathan Hankins, Andrew Billings, maybe even Anil Farrell Jr. gets activated this game, especially if we do heavy fronts. I do expect Jonathan Abram actually to play a lot of linebacker this game. I see him in the box a lot. I see him and Divine Diablo in there. You get your best tacklers on the field, specifically in obvious rundown situations. But look, I think that we're going to get a unique twist from the Tennessee Titans this week. I think that they know that the Raiders are going to stack the boxes against them. I think that they're going to be desperate. This is a team that's also their back is against the wall, exactly like the Raiders are. So I think you're going to get every single aspect that's in the Tennessee Titans playbook now, like what we mentioned before, Todd Downing. That playbook might not be that deep. So if you can weather King Henry and really slow down the run game, which the Raiders are ranked, I believe, top 5. It's either top 5 or in the top 10 when it comes to run defense this season. Then they actually give themselves a real opportunity to go out there and win the game.
I think they're number 6. They're keeping teams at 3.7 yards per carry average,
which is
and
impressive.
That's number 6 in the league. Last week, obviously, it kind of got out of hand, but I think that's the Kyler Murray effect. But overall, I feel like we kind of been solid against the run. But this is going to be a big test against Henry, and I'm glad that you mentioned Billings. He's kind of been a bright spot on that D line. Not as a pass rusher, but as a run defender. I think PFF has him at like a 82.7 run defensive grade, which is pretty good. That's actually pretty good for PFF standards. And I know a lot of people don't know big PFF people, but at least you can get an idea of like, okay, this guy's playing well, out there.
Yeah, it gives you a visual. It doesn't tell the entire story, just like the PFF grade against Chandler and all this stuff, like a 42 PFF or whatever the grade was.
Yeah.
It paints a picture, but it doesn't tell the entire story. So I do like PFF, though. I know a lot of people give it a lot of crap. I do like it when it comes to aspect of the offensive line. I think when it comes to the O-line, statistics and projections, it actually does do a pretty decent job. Outside of that, though, it's a bit shaky.
Yeah.
Sean says, I've been out of the loop this week. Is Perryman still out? Perryman is still out. He's going to miss this football game, which also Blake Martinez came in for a visit today. Haven't heard anything on that front. That is an aspect. That's a signing that I would really like. I think the fact that they've brought in Blake for a workout tells me that Denzel Perryman might be missing some time. This might not just be a 1 or 2 week type of injury. I do expect that. Hey, look, man, we talked about it last live show. Remember we talked about Denzel Perryman not getting that extension from the Raiders because he was in that cover 3 system with Gus Bradley. We were talking about getting him a contract extension, and we were over here saying kind of like, hey, we like Denzel, we like what he brings to the table, but let's pump the brakes a little bit. Let him get a year in this system and kind of see what he does, see if he's a bright spot. The fact of the matter is man, he's going to be missing his second game of 3 so far. So I'm kind of glad we didn't get a deal done, but Blake Martinez, I think, would be a good addition. How do you feel about that?
Plug-in player. I mean, he was an inside linebacker in Patrick Graham's defense with the Giants, so I get it. It makes a lot of sense, but that's a good observation there that if we're going to bring in Blake Martinez, there's something going on with Perriman where he's probably going to be out for a little bit, but I like it. I like it because at the end of the day, behind him are like 2 undrafted free agents. And at the end of the day, they're undrafted free agents. Coaches want vets back there, guys that they can trust in big moments and big spots. So it makes sense if a guy is available that's a veteran linebacker that's played in that defense and actually was solid and good, why wouldn't you pick him up? As a fan, as a you know what I mean? Like as a coach, you would want a player on your team that, especially because this is a new defensive system. You also have to, this is not like a veteran team where they've been in this offense, they've been in this defense for years to come. Bringing in a guy like Martinez is a huge plus because now you have another guy that could help teach the defense.
It's honestly like bringing a Brandon Bolden into your offense. It's plugging in a Blake Martinez who understands the terminology, he could honestly come in, if we were to sign him today, he could come in by the next game and play some snaps. I'm not going to say he's going to play a significant role, but he could definitely get into the game as early as next week if they were to go out there and sign him, which if you need a linebacker, if you need to up this run defense, I think it's kind of a no-brainer. I think he would be a really good fit for the Raiders. Looking at this offensive matchup, going against actually, you know what? Let's stick to the defensive side of the ball. There's been a lot of rumors on this whole offensive line situation, and now the rumors coming out is that it's going to be from left to right: Colton Miller, Alex Bars, Dylan Parham, Jermaine Illuminor, Thayer Mumford. Now going against this Titans defense, they're no slouches. You know what I mean? I know that their rankings are a little bit low right now. But when you're going up against a Jeffrey Simmons, arguably one of the best interior defensive linemen outside edge rushers, I mean, he can play all over the line. How do you feel that this offensive line matches up with the Titans defense?
Well, let me before I get into that, I wanted to add a couple of things too that I
Okay.
forgot to mention to Raider Nation about our defense going against their offense. Outside of Derrick Henry, I am not, as a fan, I think the Raiders should not be afraid. They should be cautious. At the end of the day, they gave up a 20-0 lead, but I am not afraid of anybody on that offense. They have a lot of inexperience at wide receiver, guys who are solid to good. I feel like our secondary can match up with them. They've proven that so far. And I feel like our D-line, if there's going to be a game where they come in and dominate, this is the game. Left tackle, we didn't mention this. Left tackle Taylor Lewan is out. He's out. They have another. They had a guard, Jamarcus Jones, who's also going to be missing this game. Another projected starter that's missing. So this is a good game for the defense to get back on track, as far as But at the end of the day, if they're letting Henry go loose, then you can throw everything that I just say out the window.
Yeah, and if they could put a contain on King, look, Robert Woods and Treylon Burks, while respectively they're actually pretty good football players, they're not a Keenan Allen, Mike Williams duo. You know what I mean? Like they're not. I do think Nate Hobbs and Rock Ya-Sin match up pretty fairly well with those guys. I don't feel like they're just going to completely take over the football game. But look, Chandler Jones had 5 sacks against Taylor Lewan week 1 last year. So that was a matchup that I wasn't even necessarily worried about. And now that Taylor Lewan is out and you're going up against a backup left tackle, if everybody that wanted to throw the criticism at Chandler Jones with 2 games into the season, this is the game where you should kind of be holding your breath. If Chandler Jones goes out there and he drops a complete goose egg again, can't get after the quarterback, can't get to Tannehill, look, then we can start talking about, hey, the Raiders possibly made a bad signing here. However, I do think that Chandler Jones and Max Crosby have an opportunity to really, against a style that Ryan Tannehill is, I really do think that they have an opportunity to go out here and kind of take over the game and kind of live up to the hype of what we've been expecting this offseason, especially if you can give some type of push from the interior. If Bilal Nichols can just get a little bit of a push to get Tannehill off the center line a little bit, and you can get Chandler Jones. Maybe this is a game where the defense can actually create turnovers, strip sacks. We're kind of in the deficit. We've got 7 turnovers in 2 weeks, which is a crucial aspect to why the Raiders have lost 2 games. You just cannot win football games with 7 turnovers in 2 weeks. It just can't happen. So hopefully the Raiders can get on track defensively and maybe get a few turnovers themselves.
No, I hope so too. And I want to keep. I don't know how much I could throw the nail in a hammer right here, like with Derrick Henry, because the dude had like 728 of his 937 rush yards last year came after contact. So this dude is a physical player, and he did it in 8 games. He was 6th in the league. So 728 of his 937 rush yards last year came in 8 games, and he was 6th in the league. You know what I mean? So this is why this game is so huge with the front 7. They have to be physical.
And guys like Jayon Brown have to get off the blocks, because last week he really struggled getting off blocks in the run game. That's a bad matchup for us this week. It really is.
I don't like our linebackers are small.
They're small. That's why I think a Blake Martinez is a big one. Maybe a Luke Masterson. You get a guy who's a solid tackler.
Yeah.
Really, you got to get. Honestly, I want somebody who is aggressive in the box. And I think, like I said a little bit earlier, you're going to see a lot of Jonathan Abram this week. You're going to see him lined up in the linebacker situation. You guys should go watch the game film last week against the Cardinals. There, Jonathan Abram tosses a blocker. He lined up in the box and just tosses this man. So I love the aggression. We're going to need that this week. You're going to need a tone setter on defense. Trayvon Merrick is out. Denzel Perryman is out. We've got some banged up guys. You got to get some tone setters, and you got to get after King Henry early and consistently shut that down over 4 quarters. There's 43 of you guys in the building. So all 43 of you, if you guys can, go over there, smash the like button, go subscribe to Pharaoh. We broke 1,000 subscribers tonight. So huge shout out to Raider Nation, man. While tonight is about the Titans, I'm not really going to celebrate that much, man, because, I'm just grateful to be here. We have a lot to talk about. The Raiders are 0-2, so while we could sit here and celebrate on 1K, it's an achievement, but it's just the start. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about when it comes to this matchup on Sunday, so we're going to keep our focus on that. Anything else for you specifically when it comes to the defensive side?
Just to keep it simple, we got to stop Henry at all costs. At all costs, because if we don't stop him, it's defensively like it's going to be a long game. It's going to be a long game because then now they're going to control the clock. Now they're going to keep our offense off the field, and they could easily take. This is kind of a. We're going to get into like our predictions and how we feel. We're going to get into a little bit more, but this is a tough game. A lot of people might think this is an easy game, but this is going to be a tough game on the road.
Chef B says congrats on the 1K. Eric Raid, salute fellas. Cash Lord is saying they set Tannehill up for failure. ACL for Woods and Trey Burks. Let's see here. Evan is in the building. It's my best friend. He's a Chiefs fan, man. So everybody get after him. We gave him the roses last
come
week.
on, man. You a Chiefs fan? Come on, man. You didn't learn anything from Raider Ray over here? Come on, man.
He dragged me out to KC twice. One of them was on primetime football. Yeah, it was. Hey, but I did get to clamp up a Chiefs fan. We still got that on video. I had my C Wood jersey on because it was C Wood's last game.
Okay.
And, a Chiefs fan's like, hey, Charles Woodson. I bet you can't guard me. You know, he's Tank, bro. Typical Chiefs fan. And boy, I put the clamps on that guy. SC says, yo, congrats on the 1K. Well deserved. I appreciate that, SC.
Salute SC.
Everybody go subscribe to him. Salute guys coming over from SC Experience Chat. Thank you for supporting this channel. GA Patriot. I appreciate you. Jack Kenna, my boys Ray and Pharaoh. Salute to both of you in Nation.
Salute,
yeah, everybody, man. Go over to SC, subscribe to him. Go over to Pharaoh. Subscribe to his channel, man. We spread the love over here. Raider Casper says congratulations. D Menace says, I seen that play, but do you think he can handle Henry though? I'd imagine that you're talking about Jonathan Abram. I'm not gonna say he's gonna consistently.
Cash, you're hilarious.
What'd he say?
He said pause on that clamp up.
See, bro, everything I say is gonna have to get whatever.
You're gonna have a pause button for somewhere.
Whatever. Yeah, so 41 of you guys in here, man, go and smash those like buttons. Everything's free over here. Support the channel. We should have 41 likes if we have 41 people in here, and just let other people know where you're at, man. The more that you like it, the algorithm is very real. Lets other Raider fans know where you're at. It can make this show more interactive, more better. So I appreciate each and every single one of you guys that decided to pull up, and shout out to SC for just shouting out the channel, man. I was reading this chat. Alfredo says, boo, Chiefs, boo. Throw them tomatoes at Evan, man. Let him know. He may be my best friend, but throw them tomatoes at him, man. Daniel says, good stuff, man. Love the content. We'll definitely share this on my IG. I appreciate that, Daniel. I appreciate that. All right, man. So, look, offense. To me, there's something going on with Josh McDaniels, Derek Carr. Not that there's tension or anything like that in between them. But we have to come up with a game plan that we can go out there and execute consistently in 4 quarters. Obviously, it's football. Not everything's going to go perfect. There's little things that are going to go wrong here and there. But to add to the problems on the offense, you're going into another week with another makeshift offensive line. And if you want to develop any type of continuity, you got to stop with this interchanging. I get you're trying to find the best 5, but look, man, like, all it's doing, I think, me personally, this is what I believe. I think it makes Derek Carr think a little bit. You know, you keep mismatching these offensive linemen. You keep putting something that's not for sure up there in front of him. I don't know, man. He's been hanging on to the ball too long. There's moments where DC looks good. I mean, he really does. But there's just a lot of moments where it just looks like the guy I don't know if he's thinking too much, if he's holding on to the football. I don't know what it is, man, but the Raiders have to come out with a consistent game plan, and I have it circled on my sheet. Davante Adams versus everybody. Now, I'm not talking about going to a game plan like a week 1 where, you know, it's 20 targets and it was just solely the game plan was to get Davante Adams the ball. But we have to do better than 2 receptions for 12 yards and a touchdown. When we talked about last week in the preview about spreading the ball around and getting the football out to some weapons, they did that in the first half and executed pretty good. However, you have to find a way to get Davante involved more. How do you feel about the Raiders offense going against the Titans defense?
I'm not super confident with this offense until I see it on Sundays, because on paper, obviously, I believe in this offense. Before the season, I believed in the coaching staff. I believe and I still do. I still believe in the players. But until I see it on Sundays, I can't 100% say that, okay, this is going to be the week. But if it's going to be a week that we can get back on track, this would be a perfect week, because you're going against a defense that struggles against the run and struggles against the pass. The defense in general for the Titans is struggling so far. You know what I mean? It's they're getting blown out, and it's not. There's a reason why they're getting blown out. There's a reason why they're getting blown out. Obviously, they went against the Bills and things like that, but at the end of the day, like they've been one of the worst teams against the run and against the pass. But that being said, they do got some really good safeties. Jeffrey Simmons is a monster on that D line, so that's a big. You got to keep an eye on that, especially our interior O line against Jeffrey Simmons, because they move around all throughout that D line. And I'm thinking the reason why they do that is because to find the weak link, and wherever they feel like it's going to be a good matchup, they're gonna try to take advantage of that with Jeffrey Simmons. So he's gonna win some battles. I think I have Jeffrey Simmons, his 2021 stats: 8.5 sacks, fifth most pressures with interior D linemen, with 62 pressures, 5 batted passes. That was second among D tackles. And so far in 2022, he has 2 sacks, 8 pressures, and 1 batted pass. So the guy is back to being a productive D line. He's one of the best D tackles, or 3-4 DNs in football. So that, I feel like that matchup with our offensive line has me a little bit nervous. But that being said, we can take advantage of this defense if we keep that same balance approach that we had in the first half against the Cardinals, and we applied it to this game. You know what I mean? I think we need to get back to running the ball. Hopefully Josh Jacobs can get healthy. And I know that he's sick. He didn't fly out with the team today, but they didn't rule him out. He's still questionable, so he might fly out tomorrow. But if he can come back to this game, he'll be a huge plus for us. We need to give him the ball. We need to give him the rock, and give the running backs in general the rock, and stick to it. Stay committed, and we're gonna get some yards, and then get some easy completions for Derek Carr. I know you mentioned that he's holding the ball a lot. It might be because he's not too confident with the O-line, but I just think that I dropped a video today, the truth about Derek Carr. I think that it's because he's still not used. He's still getting used to this offense. He's still not 100% there.
No.
You know what I mean? And you can tell. You can tell. And I just feel like the coaching staff, they're kind of, putting him out there and just saying, okay, just make your mistakes, get him out the way. But in my eyes, like, hey, still make your mistakes, but still try to help him out. Get him some easy completions. Get him some confidence. Run the ball. Protect your quarterback. And, it came back to Hanem last game, but hopefully this game they can establish that run, keep it, like I said, a balanced approach, and please give Adams more than 7 targets, please.
One thing I do miss about Jon Gruden's offense, and I know people were probably like, oh, don't bring up Jon Gruden's offense, was his ability to scheme guys open. When they were going into a game and we were talking about these matchups, right, where the Raiders can go out there and attack, typically you did see Jon Gruden go and attack the weaknesses of defenses. He did a good job of getting guys open. When I watch this Raiders offense, to me, it doesn't feel like there's this detailed attack and correct me if you feel any different, but it just doesn't feel like the Raiders have a set game plan to go out there and attack the weaknesses of these defense. It just kind of feels like they're going out there and playing ball, like a little bit of backyard ball. Like it seems like they'll get through their scripted plays, and after they get through those scripted plays and you just open up the playbook and you just start calling plays at that point, it just feels like they don't necessarily have an identity. They don't know, there's no a type of detail. You mentioned getting the run game going. This whole offseason, everybody's talking about Zamir White's going to be the Josh Jacobs replacement. Now, I wasn't a big fan of that take. I like Zamir White, but I do not, especially with how Josh Jacobs is running this season. Josh Jacobs looks like how he did his rookie year. He just looks different. He looks like one of the better players out on the football field. I mean, he's just making plays left and right. So all those people that were saying, hey, look, Zamir White's going to be the guy to replace Josh Jacobs after this year, hey, you're going to get a good look at your boy this week. So, and I hope that he's everything that you guys are saying that he is. Me personally, I don't see it, but the Raiders have to find an identity, and I'm not that confident in running Brandon Bolden all the time. I seen a little bit of that week 1. Didn't really necessarily like what I seen. This is a week where you got to get the screen game involved. You got to get Brandon and Bolden involved in the passing game. Get Zamir White, running the tough yards, and maybe even promote somebody off the practice squad. If Josh Jacobs isn't a full go.
Yeah, no, and I get what you're saying. Like, that's why I said last week was and I don't want to talk about last week's game too much, but just the season so far. That's why I feel like it's been, or last week was a team loss because the coaching staff played a hand in that loss. But moving forward, I feel like they're still getting used to this roster. They're still trying to figure out things just as much as the players. And I think hopefully this game they'll be able to find some type of identity. And I think their identity is to have a balanced approach. Run that ball. Make it easier for Derek Carr. I mean, he's still not confident back there. You know what I mean? And I think I had a stat where I think Derek Carr was like I think it was, let me pull up that stat real quick. Hold on 1 second.
No, and it's like Raider Casper says it here. Is like exactly. It looks like McDaniels is figuring out his playbook at practice, but it's on Sunday on national television. It's just, I honestly, I wanted more detail in this Josh McDaniels offense. I was expecting, but what is your stat? You got your stat pulled up?
No, I don't have it pulled up, but I have a question for you. Do you think the reason why the fact that we don't have an identity and we're kind of struggling on offense is because the players on a football field, they haven't completely grasped the offense. So whatever is that the scheme that we're seeing on the football field, it's very vanilla. So like it's kind of limiting the coaching staff as far as calling. How do you feel with that take?
What you're saying is a very real thing, but let me also say there's other NFL teams around. Look, the Raiders started training camp before anybody else. On top of that, there are other teams in this National Football League, Miami Dolphins being one in particular. These guys have a brand new head coach and a guy who is criticized for not having a big arm, wasn't a very good franchise quarterback, has come out here and exploded onto the scene. The Miami Dolphins their offense is clicking on all cylinders. You know what I mean? And this is what the Raiders were projected to be. An offense that when they take the field, they're just absolutely better than everybody else. So to say that they haven't got a grasp of the offense would be a little bit underwhelming for me because while I do believe that you're right, because it's pretty evident on field, I don't know if the playbook is just like Davante Adams came out and said, like, look, if you just randomly came into this building late in the offseason, you're probably not going to pick up this playbook and thrive. You know what I mean? I think it's extremely complex. And sometimes when you have playbooks that are this complex, it could be to the detriment to your offense. Because the more simple that you can make this game, you just let these guys go and play football without thinking. Teams like the Miami Dolphins, for example, is a new year head coach who's going out there, putting his guys in position to succeed, and you're seeing the Dolphins explode onto the scene. That's not the Raiders. So if it is a coaching situation where everything's too complex and you're not picking up the playbook, that's on the coaching staff to get that corrected. They have to simplify it. They have to get their guys in a position. That's what they were brought in here to do. And I was under the impression that, look, when Josh McDaniels came in, it was going to be, I'm going to get my guys in the best position possible to succeed regardless, because that's what we heard all off season was, hey, I'm just going to do stuff that my guys like to do and maybe not call some of the things I would typically call. That's what Josh McDaniels said himself. But to me, it looks like this is my system, my ways, my offense. Go out there and execute what I say. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you feel different. I would like to hear it.
No, I agree with you 100%. They came into they're coming at it very arrogantly. Like if you look at the game plan week 1, it was basically to pass that football. You know what I mean? It was to get Davante Adams go crazy. Like we don't care. We don't even have to run the ball.
Right.
And I'm like, and before I know we had a game preview. And we're like I was looking at the game plan. I'm like, hold up, you're telling me we're gonna go against this D line and not run the ball?
I know, bro.
A defense last year where they struggled to stop the run. Salute Dirty Low, but I just didn't understand that. You know what I mean? I didn't understand the game plan. But that being said, they get paid the big bucks for a reason. I think Josh McDaniels, I think as he's gonna get better. Just as much as Derek Carr is gonna get better as the season goes along. I think Josh McDaniels and his coaching staff is gonna get better as the season goes along. I think the players are gonna get better. It's just right now they should have played preseason at least. They should have. I don't know what it is about this team where I'm like, man, like let me pull up that Derek Carr stat. And this is kind of like a little bit of an idea of how much he's struggling. This is an NFL Next Gen stat. Carr only has one completion and 2 interceptions of passes of 20 yards or more. So 20 air yards or more. So that should tell you a little bit like the guy, like he's not playing his game. And just to give you a little bit of perspective, last year he was ranked 9th in the league as a deep ball thrower. You know what I mean? So it's only been 2 games.
I know.
It's only been 2 games. It's only been 2 games.
However, it's only been 2 games, but the Raiders find themselves in a situation where their back's against the wall. Like you go 0-3, bro. Like this is tough. You go 0-3 and then you play the Denver Broncos and then you play the Kansas City Chiefs. And if you can't get a win against the Tennessee Titans and you say you drop a game to the Denver, you sure aren't going to beat the Chiefs if you drop the first 4 games of the season. And then you're sitting at 0-4, you lose to the Chiefs. Like, to be real with you, the Raiders could look at an 0-5 going into the bye.
Hey, I'm not. I don't want to be like negative.
I don't want to be negative, but
I don't want to be. I don't want to be negative here. But if we go 0-3, guess what our percentages of making the playoffs are?
Probably none.
2.6%.
Hey, okay, pause. Boop. That's a good point. That's a good number because last year the Raiders. Remember when the Raiders were like, I don't know, we needed to win out like the last 4 or 5 games of the season, and the Raiders were literally at like 2.2% chance to make the playoffs. They lose their head coach. Rich Bisaccia steps in. Everybody's like, look, Raiders have a 2% chance to make it to the playoffs. And guess what the Raiders did? They punched their ticket. So if it is 2%, look, there's still a lot of football. However, 0-3, just when you start off a season 0-3 and you don't taste a win, and then you've got divisional opponents coming up, it could be things in the locker room start to happen, right? You start to point the fingers. Guys will start looking at Derek Carr like, hey, bro, you're not stepping up. Guys will just it naturally happens, right? And I know that we have a really good locker room. However, man, Sunday, dude, we have to find a way to go out there and win. I mean, last week we kind of felt like, hey, you got to go out here and win against the Cardinals. There was pressure, but there wasn't pressure like how I feel about this game. And this matchup is actually, it sits heavier on my chest than what the Cardinals matchup did.
Yep.
I mean, this is a tougher matchup for me personally than what the Cardinals were, just based off, just like styles make fights, styles make football games. And the Tennessee Titans are a tough football team. You addressed it to me earlier, right? This team has gone through a lot with Mike Vrabel. They're not going to show up and just keel over, bro. They're going to show up here and fight. Like whoever is the most desperate team, and me and you kind of talked about it before the camera went on. The Raiders are in a situation where they came out hot, right? Landed the big shots, had the Cardinals hurt, and couldn't put them away. The Titans, however, just came off of getting the crap kicked out of them. And they're just wanting to put their helmet and pads on to come out here and just to lay some wood on somebody just because of what happened to them last week. So you have a team who really underperformed when it comes to the scoreboard, and the Titans just trying to get that mentality back of coming out and playing tough football. And then you have the Raiders who came out hot. You know what I mean? They landed the big shots, but they couldn't put it away. Like this matchup is tough, bro. It's a tale of 2 tapes, and it just, I don't know how it's going to fare. I don't know.
How do you feel about McDaniels saying that this team needs to learn how to win?
I mean, he's calling it out. He's calling it out, but at the same time, it falls on him. That's where I'm at with it. Like
I'm kind of like, I'm on the side of he has more to prove than anybody else.
Right. Your coaching has led us to 0-2. Let's just keep it a buck.
Like, not even just this season. He has more to prove. Like I even said before the season that like Dave Z, he has me sold as a GM. I love the moves that he's been making, but Josh McDaniels still needs to prove that he can coach on Sundays. because just based off his history as a head coach, he didn't do too well. You know what I mean? And so far, it's still early. It's still early. I still believe in this coaching staff. At the end of the day, I know we're talking about all that we're talking about, but I still believe in the coaching staff. I still believe in the players. I still believe in Derek Carr. I think they can get it together because there's too much talent. But like you said, stylistically, going against this team, the Tennessee Titans, they're a physical team. They're a tough team. Vrabel's going to nail it in their head like, hey, this is a playoff game. Because I just mentioned a stat right now. If a team that goes 0-3 has a 2.6% chance of making the playoffs, since 1970 to 2021, there's been 233 teams that have went 0-3. Only 6 teams have gone to the playoffs. The last time was the 2018 Houston Texans. So that should give you an idea of how tough that is. And we going into the season, we're talking about how tough the AFC West is, how tough the AFC period is. So that's why we're talking about this game being a huge game, a playoff game, is because I love the NFL because every game counts, but especially this year, this week, where we're at right now at 0-2, 0-3, and then we're going against Denver, which I'm not scared of.
No.
But hey, at this point, man, we need a win.
But we're going against Denver, which, like you said, I'm not scared of them at all. But if you drop a loss to the Cardinals, you drop a loss to the Titans, who are in a tough spot right now, bro, like, you haven't proven anything. I can't just come on this show and be like, yeah, Raiders are going to win 27-23 against the Broncos. Like, bro, the way they have shown us nothing, really. They've played 2 quarters in each game. That's how I feel about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. They played a first half against the Cardinals. They tried to rally and come back against the Chargers. It's just, dude, like this, it's so weird because I didn't think I'd be sitting in this seat talking about the Raiders probably going 0-3, like potentially going 0-3, not saying probably will, but potentially going 0-3, and our backs against the wall like this. But with that said, I do feel like the Raiders can come out here and win the football game. It's just a tough matchup.
No, it's a tough matchup.
How do you feel about Debo's comment right here, by the way?
This whole system is truly disappointing. It seems like McDaniels is setting up us to fail. Is it for a QB change next year? I know that's outrageous, but DC not able to look going into the season. I told myself, and I told hell of people, this is a no excuse year for DC. At this point, he has everything he needs to win. You know what I mean? Like, if he can't get it done with this team, not saying that his career as an NFL quarterback is over. It's just, it's probably best if the Raiders and Derek Carr win a separate race because it's not working out. Because at the end of the day, if we're going to get your best friend, the best receiver in the NFL, one of the best slot receivers, Darren Waller, one of the best tight ends. I know the O-line is kind of shaky, but like you've mentioned, they're solid.
They're middle of the pack.
You know what I mean? They can be solid. They can get there. The O-line can get better with good coaching, and if they get rid of that 7-man rotation, they just need to throw that in the garbage. But
let me just chime in real quick and tell me if you agree. All this talk about this offensive line. Anytime that Jermaine Illuminor has been out there at right tackle, have you honestly felt like it's been Brandon Parker out there? No. Like, when I watched the game and when Brandon Parker would take the field, I would hold my breath every single snap. Right? I'd be like, oh, no. Like, my eyes would literally gravitate to number 75, wherever he was on the field. I couldn't watch anything else, and it was like, please don't lose this rep. Please don't lose this rep. That is not the case with this offense. I don't know why everybody acts like this offensive line is like if we had Brandon Parker in the game or Alex Leatherwood in the game, because it's not that way. The Raiders, I believe they're sitting at 14th or 19th or something like that in the NFL. I believe it's 14th. So if I would have told you 2 weeks before the regular season that in week 2, the Raiders would be sitting at 14th, you know what I mean? And as a top graded, I know that they don't run the football a lot, but they're one of the highest graded run blocking when it comes to efficiency. Like, you would have taken that. You would have been like, okay, I'll take a middle of the pack Raiders offensive line. Just like we said, I'll take a middle of the pack Raiders defense. And we have that. We have a middle of the pack Raiders defense who's good at stopping the run, who's ranked 14th in the NFL. Like, I mean, it comes down to Coach McDaniels and Derek Carr. That's what it feels like to me. It just
Facts.
that's my opinion.
And just to finish out the answer, completely answer this question for Debo, man, I think DC, if it doesn't work out this year, I think they should definitely move on. But I don't feel like it's not going to work out. I think it is going to work out. I think that McDaniels feels confident. Obviously, the reason why they went after D Adams is because they feel confident that it can work with Carr. But they did save a little bit of wiggle room just in case
They
it
saved
doesn't work
wiggle
out.
room, but I don't. It felt like a little bit of like a test run. But however, you don't give up a first round and a second round pick to go get a guy's. Now maybe you do for Devontae Adams, regardless if it was Derek Carr's best friend. But typically, you're not going to give up a first and second round draft pick to put weapons around the guys, then re-sign them to a contract extension just to hope that you tank and so you can draft a quarterback. Does that make sense? Like, I don't think the plan was ever to tank. The plan was never to let DC fail. I think that they were all in on DC. But if Josh McDaniels kind of knowing that Derek Carr is a smart quarterback, if he just threw the playbook at DC and was like, hey, eat this up, I'm going to throw the entire thing at you. I want to see how much you can consume and get down. And we're going to open up this entire playbook on Sundays. I think he would have done Derek Carr a disservice, regardless of how smart Derek is. I think you have to take this in chunks. You know what I mean? You got to eat this offensive playbook in segments and just find ways each and every single week to get your guys involved to win the football game. Just feels like they're trying to do too much, and he doesn't understand it that much yet.
Yeah, because he's not as confident. It's affecting. It's like, look, put it this way: if you're thinking too much, it's gonna affect you in every facet in your life. Like you're the way you move, your whole actions as a quarterback. At the end of the day, like he has a lot of different things that he has to focus on. And like I remember week one. First of all, let's talk about week one just real quickly.
Okay.
His pocket presence was off.
Yeah.
And the reason why it was off is because his mentally he wasn't even thinking about it, because he's like thinking about too much about
Yeah.
like, okay, where am I supposed to be? Okay, where am I supposed to be looking here? Who are my keys? What is the hot read? He's still trying to figure it out. And I think what's also like I mentioned a stat about his accuracy. I think that's the reason why his accuracy hasn't been as on point as we've seen in previous years. Is the fact that, like, he's thinking too much out there, and I feel like there is going to be an adjustment period. Hopefully it's this week. And like I said, I dropped the video. I don't want to keep shouting out, but like I dropped a video today, and it was pretty much about how the first two games, or first 2 or 3 games, are really similar to 2018, Derek Carr's first year in Gruden's offense. First game against the LA Rams, he threw 3 picks. Second game against the Broncos, they had a 12-point lead, and they lost the game.
Bro, why does it have to be that way? Why does it have to almost be scary coincidence? And by the way, don't ever hesitate to throw out, like, when you drop content, bro. It's a great video. Pharaoh has been doing a good job at dropping some content lately. You guys have to go check it out. 42 of you in the building, man. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Go over to Pharaoh. He's been dropping some good content, y'all, and they're great videos. I had to send him a message and just tell him, like, hey, bro, like, it's some good content. Y'all are missing out if you're not subscribed. No, dude, I did see Jack Henna said this. I mean, I'll address it, but Jack says at Ray, my big take, McDaniels doesn't have Carr with audibles to call out of. Facts. Last year it was every other play. And I think he has audibles. I don't think it's that he doesn't have audibles. It's understanding where to go with the football, concepts that they're running. And like we were talking about each and every week, these defenses are going to show a lot more disguised coverages than what they did in times past. You're going to see a lot more creativity. You're going to see guys come up to the line of scrimmage, peel off in coverage. I mean, they're going to throw everything at Derek Carr because there's one guy dispensing the football to a multitude of weapons. So look, Derek Carr has audibles, but we've seen Derek Carr always almost try to like cater to his new coach. I want to do it exactly how Josh McDaniels wants me to do it, and that kills me sometimes. Like,
man, because it's gonna sacrifice his game a little bit.
It is, and that's what, and maybe that's why coaches are kind of like all in on Derek Carr, because they're like, this guy does everything I tell him to. You know what I mean? He goes out there, and I can coach him the way I want to coach him, and he's just he is almost like a piece of me in that locker room and in the offense. And I think that's why Gruden loved Derek Carr so much, because he could groom him his own way. And it's just like, because Derek Carr is almost Josh McDaniels' fall guy too. So when you think about it, they're almost a tandem. You know what I mean? The quarterback and the head coach go hand in hand, especially when it's an offensive guy like Josh McDaniels. So you get this little linked up buddy system that, hey, when things start going wrong, I got your back, you got my back, and let's kind of keep this thing pushing. I hate it, bro. I can't stand it. I really can't. Like, this Raiders offense is too good on paper to be performing the way that they are. There's no excuse.
And it's crazy too, that going back to that 2018 year, guess who he played week 3 in 2018? What quarterback he played?
Tannehill.
Oh
my god. Oh, bro.
Hey, it might not mean anything, but
what was the score?
28-20. We lost.
Oh god. Bro.
But look. I only brought it up because obviously Derek Carr had to adjust to Gruden's offense. If you remember when people were talking about Gruden's offense, as much as we get on Gruden, all they can talk about Gruden is how thick his playbook is, how many plays that he has to memorize, how many audibles and things like that. So it took him a little bit to adjust to that as well. But the reason why I think it's going to be different this time, I feel like we have a way better coaching staff. We have way better talent. We should have won that game against the Cardinals, but woulda, coulda, shoulda, don't get it done.
Nope.
But we have a chance this week going against a team that's been struggling, and I feel like we can handle business, man.
Ashley Trejo says, "Who's Hunter's backup?" I mean, I'd imagine it's going to be Mac Hollins, and you're going to see a little bit. Hey, somebody let me know in the comment what's going on with DJ Turner? I feel like I haven't heard nothing about DJ Turner.
I know. I think he's still hurt.
Still?
I know he hasn't been on the injury report. I don't know if they.
I know. I don't get it. What about T. Billy? Could this be a game where T. Billy gets involved?
T. Billy is. We'll see. I mean, Renfro is.
Kind of keep him quiet. You know what I mean? Take some shots deep down the field. I don't know.
This would be a game to maybe smoothly put, T. Billy out there. Maybe call a deep shot against a secondary that's been struggling this year. But a guy like Keelan Cole seemed like it would be an easy fit in that slot role just because of the experience he has, kind of the veteran savviness he has as a route runner, kind of makes sense. Okay, Raiders 05. He said DJ's on. Okay. That makes sense.
So Derek Carr's 3-1 against the Titans, but Tannehill is 4-0 against the Raiders. So
4-0, yeah. Tannehill plays well against us, man.
I'm telling you, bro, this week is gonna be. I don't know, bro. This week, I just have this weird feeling in my gut. I'm not even going to lie, bro. It's a welcome, different way to give the same takes, filled with information and energy, but measured. Keeps me more even keel, but still fired up. But you, along with other content creators, are fire. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate that, Daniel.
Appreciate that, Daniel, man.
We appreciate that. We're really glad that you guys enjoy the show, man. I just love to get on here and talk with my guy. And then the fact that you guys are here getting involved, and man, it just makes for honestly just really good conversation, which is everything that we're looking for. Daniel Kim says Cole and Johnson in the slot are going to be a really different feel and look from Renfro. It may be added pressure via speed, but we need to open things up. And maybe this is the week that we do.
Hey, Alfredo, don't speak that into existence. Don't speak. Bro. Hey, man.
Hey, Alfredo, man. Let's not do this. Look, there's a part of my gut that feels you, but let's not type it out and put it out there. All right. So you know what? We're just going to go to Daniel Kim right here. Happy Friday.
Yeah, thanks.
We're going to move to that. So, okay, man. Let's actually get into the keys to the game, and then we're going to open it up for questions, all right? We talked about the Raiders and Titans. We understand the weight and the heaviness of this game. We talked about some matchup that the Raiders could look for. Keys to the game. I'll let you go first.
Okay. So I got 3 keys. I think getting the run game going is going to be huge against a team that struggles to stop the run. I mean, their defense has given up like 339 rush yards so far this season, total yards this season. It's 31st in the league. So you can tell they're struggling, and they're allowing 6 yards per carry. So if Jacobs can go, good, he's going to eat, but they got to stay committed to that. Whoever's back there, we got to stay committed to that. If it's going to be a running back by committee, which Josh McDaniels pretty much has experience doing, then I'm good with that too. But we just got to stay committed to that run game. And just not just stay committed to that run game, but also I feel like what worked in that first half of that Cardinals game was a balanced attack. You know what I mean? I think that's the recipe for success for this offense, at least early on. Once Derek Carr masters this offense, once he gets more comfortable in the then we can have game plans where we could just pass it all day because we have the weapons to do so. But I feel like with Derek Carr not 100% there, and not just Derek Carr, I know we're talking about Derek Carr not 100% like adjusted to the offense, but even the receivers. How do we know receivers are not running the wrong routes? How we know players are not in the right place? You know what I mean? This is
especially with a ton of choice routes. You know
exactly.
what I mean?
And then we just got done talking about 7-man rotation with the O-line, where like if think about it, if a guy's coming in and O-line is all about communication. You don't have to have all pro players in each position. They just got to work well and gel as a unit. So if a guy comes in and he misses, a call or something like that, just because he's probably not, he's not in there enough, then that could be a sack. That's a 4-yard loss. You can see how that could affect the game. It could affect the drive. It's a game within a game. So I think one of the keys is to run the ball, obviously run the ball and have a balanced attack. And then obviously going back to the defense, we need to stop that run. That's going to be huge, huge. If we can stop King Henry, however you want to call it, Derrick Henry, the guy, the monster that's in Tennessee, then our defense has done their job. They're going to give us a good chance to win the game. And they're going to, if they can stop the run, that means we're going to put them in 3rd and long situations. We're going to put them in situations where we're going to be attacking their D-line. I mean, their O-line, which I believe they're hurt. We talked about Taylor Lewan being out.
There's also
Dennis
guard.
Daly, Chandler Jones. If there's going to be a game that he gets off, this is the game. Max Crosby, same to him. They're going to be moving around, so obviously they're going to go at this O-line, and it's not just Taylor Lewan. There's some other guys hurt as well. So stopping the run will set up this defense to win because I'm not scared about anyone else except Henry, obviously. And then no turnovers, man. No turnovers, man. I think if you notice the first 2 games of the season, man, like literally that has been the reasons why we've lost. Derek Carr throwing 3 picks. And then obviously, it's not the complete reason why we lost, but last game,
a lot to do with it.
Renfrow did fumble the ball and the guy took it to the house to win the game.
Yeah, and everybody's like, oh, you blame Carr, blame the defense. Low key, the Raiders were into the game. If you want to layer it, like put it on one play, Hunter Renfrow fumbled the football for a game-winning touchdown. Regardless of everything that happened, Arizona coming back, Kyler Murray coming back, defense being on the field for 51 snaps, with all of that stuff being said, the Raiders giving up a 20-point deficit. This game is a game of inches, and when it came down to it, what play put the nail in the coffin? It was a fumble by Hunter Renfrow taken back for a touchdown. You know what I mean? It's turnovers, bro. Like, no, it's a really, really good point.
Facts. And we're one of the worst teams in that category as far as turnover differential, because we're turning the ball more than we're getting the ball back from the other team. So I feel like that's a big key to the game is to have don't turn the ball over, and hopefully we can force some turnovers, and that'll give us a good chance to win this game.
And it's something else that just came to mind when you were talking about turnovers. Did not Josh McDaniels preach this entire offseason, first we have to learn to not lose the game? You know what I mean? Like, everything that this dude's been saying, it is okay. Look, I'm going to get into my keys. I'm not trying to set myself back. All right, man. Yeah. Key number 1, play 4 quarters. We've seen the Raiders play 2-2. I need a consistent football game. I need the Raiders to show up quarter 1 through 4. Go out there and complete and play at the highest level. If you can play good, consistent football for over 4 quarters, I feel like the Raiders are going to be one of the top teams in the National Football League. Consistency is absolutely everything, and we have not seen it out of the Silver and Black. Hopefully the Raiders can go into Nashville completely focused, knowing the weight and the magnitude of this game, and go out there and execute for 4 quarters. It's not going to be perfect, Raider Nation, but if they can go out there and play good, consistent football for 4 quarters, we have a good chance. Key number 2, coaches need to show up with a game plan. The first 2 weeks, we've been outcoached by coaches that, in my opinion, we should not have been outcoached by. All respect in the world to Cliff Kingsbury. Josh McDaniels should not be getting outcoached by Cliff Kingsbury that's down by 20 points at halftime. to come back. And not only was it's not like Cliff Kingsbury came out there and just called one heck of a game. The Arizona Cardinals were still committing a bunch of penalties, and you could see him on the like reading his lips when he's on the sideline, like talking to Kyler Murray, like, what the F are you doing? Like, people getting false starts, not watching the game, delay of games, all the penalties that the Cardinals were dealing with. The Raiders have got to show up. Going against Todd Downing, if Todd Downing goes out here and puts up 30 points on Patrick Graham, that tells me everything I need to know about Patrick Graham's defense. I'm going to be honest with you. There's no excuses for it. So coaches need to show up. That's key number 2. And key number 3, Pharaoh, I'm going to keep it simple. Just win, baby. I'm at the point where we just need a win. I don't care if we win it by 1 point. I don't care if we win it in overtime by a field goal. I don't care if it's a pass interference call that the refs just threw the game for the Titans and everybody's mad at them. I'm cool with it. Just win, baby. By any means necessary, go out there and find a way to win the football game.
100%. 100% agree, man. At this point, I don't care how we win. If it's an ugly win, I'll take it. If it's a blowout, I'll take it. If it's a close game, I'll take it. At the end of the day, we just need to get on that win column and then build from there. Because obviously, like, I know I had high expectations. I know you probably had high expectations just based off the type of coaching background a lot of these coaches have, a lot of the players that's on this roster. Because if you look at paper, we got the better team. Technically, we have the better team. But mentally, are we all the way there as far as knowing the offense? Because we're going against teams. The reason why we're losing against teams is because we're going against teams that are in their second, third, fourth years in their offensive and defensive system, respectively. So that's kind of an advantage for them because obviously we see Carr, he's over there, still trying to go through his reads and he doesn't have full command of that offense where he's making all. I know I had a video about how Carr right now doesn't have all at his disposal at the line of scrimmage. At the end of the day, that first game, it was a lot of Josh McDaniels calling the game. And as the season develops, as Carr gets more comfortable, I see him getting more, command. Like he's going to have more chances to get audibles. And I think last game against the Cardinals, he had that opportunity. But things like that, small little things like that, they matter. You know what I mean? And I think that's why I'm kind of like a little nervous about this game because now we're going against a team that's really experienced. I know they've been struggling this year. I know they've been struggling, but this coaching staff is experienced. I know right now, and I know you don't like Todd Downing. I don't like Todd Downing as well, like as an offensive coordinator. I don't know why he's an offensive coordinator in the NFL, to be honest with you. But I know damn well Variable is in Todd Downing's ear and saying, give the ball to Henry. And someone made a comment, a bigger key is probably Simmons. It's tomato. Simmons is he's going to be a monster, especially against our O-line, the interior of our O-line.
Going against Dylan Parham. Everybody's talking about how good Dylan Parham is. You're about to find out this week. You're getting your second start at center in the National Football League, and you're going up against a dog. And the Titans are going to the Titans are in a position they're going to line up these guys in any situation to find success. You better believe they're going to throw the entire defensive game plan at Dylan Parham and at Alex Bars. Alex Bars hasn't played a snap with us in the regular season. So when you're talking about a guard and center combination that haven't been playing together, obviously communication isn't going to be perfect. It's going to be tough, dude. Like this matchup's going to be really tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. It could possibly be a blowout, but I'm not gonna call blowout with this team until I see a complete football game. Until I see DC have full command of this offense, this coaching staff.
Facts. I need 4 quarters before I can say a blowout.
Yeah, I'm not calling no blowouts at all with this team. Like, man, and on paper you could say it, but not at the end of the day. Like they haven't proved it. No. They haven't proved it.
All right, man. So let's get into score. We're going to get ready to drop questions. I have the first question lined up, and we're going to start with Debo. So I'm going to put it on the screen, but we're not going to address it just yet because we're going to get into score predictions, and then we'll open it up for conversation in the chat. So everybody who has questions, hang on to your questions for us to get through the score predictions and then start dropping them away, and you guys were going to address each and every single one of them. There was 46 of you in the building. Everybody go smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and head over to Pharaoh NFL. This is my co-host. We're bringing you content weekly, and I hope that you guys are enjoying the show, man. I think that you guys have really had a good time here. So look, score predictions, man. What do you got?
Also, but before we get into the score prediction, I want to give a public service announcement. So me and because I know I know Jack was talking about I couldn't find a link on your channel. So how we're going about it is each week we're switching off. So this week I'm going to be on Raider Ray's channel. Obviously, I'm on this channel. Next week is going to be on my channel. So we're going to do this weekly. We're trying to keep this going, but we're just switching off each channel. So that's why you have to make sure to subscribe to both our channels.
Right.
So then you can see us when we go live.
Right. Facts.
But go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Go ahead. You know what? I'll go first. We're gonna do predicting the scores. So this week I've got 2 scores. You know what I mean? And I hate to do this to you, Raider Nation, but I gotta be a realist at all times. So there is a situation where I do see the Titans having the chance to beat the Raiders, right? And I've got that at 28-17 Titans. However, I do think the Raiders find a way to get this game done. And because of that, I'm going 27-23 Raiders. It's gonna
Hey,
be
man. Oh, my God. Great minds think alike. I said 27-20. 27-20.
Oh, really?
I wrote it down right here. 27-20. 27-20. But Raider hockey uncle, you're hilarious, bro.
I got to do this.
It's the last comment.
Raiders
comment.
10, Titans 7.
Probably like in 1950s, you know what I mean? That's that.
Oh
Like
my
today's
God.
NFL, they're gonna score a little more. If the Raiders win 10-7, I'll be happy that we won, but also be like, damn, like something terribly went wrong.
Hey,
Terrible for us to score 10 points.
Low key 10-7. I'll take it, bro.
Yeah, I'll take it.
I'll take a win. Like I said, I'll take a
Oh,
3-0 win.
oh my God, it's raining. Is it gonna be raining in Tennessee?
I heard that there's like 30% chance of rain.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
That's
Let
what
me
I
look
heard.
this up. Tennessee for let me see.
Dude, that's this game. Everything is just adding up, bro. Both teams completely injured. Both teams 0-2. The numbers of each quarterback, the success that they've each had, Tannehill 4-0, 3-1, all that garbage. There's just so much riding on this game, man.
I'm looking at it. It's gonna be 86 degrees and possibly raining.
Bro.
86 degrees, man. That's a man. Whew. That's a depressing rain right there.
Mm.
You hot and you get some hot ass rain. That's crazy.
Mm. All right, Van City says, yo, brother, glad I got to catch the tail end of this. Hey, we just opened it up for questions too, Van City, so drop your questions. Everybody in the chat. So, yeah, your score prediction was what, 27-20?
Yeah, I went 27-20. I think that Raiders are going to put it together, but it's going to be a tough game. Right. No matter what, I feel like this is going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough game just because I got to be realistic at the end of the day. Like, we got undersized linebackers. Like our fronts, man, if this is a game, they've been struggling all season. And this is both teams to go 0-3. This is a must-win game for both teams. And like I said, Variable has experience in coaching up a tough football team, winning tough games, going to the playoffs, making runs where they start off the season kind of shaky, but then they made a run where you know what I mean, winning the division, going to the playoffs. They've done that. You know what I mean?
Variable's this isn't his first rodeo in this situation.
Oh, yeah. He's a proven coach. McDaniels, I don't want to get on him too much, but he's not as proven as him. So, like, you know, but hey, I'm still picking up the Raiders to win. I think that we got too much firepower. If we do what we're supposed to do, we got too much firepower, but I still think it's a tough game.
You know, a part of me, since we've gone 0-2, I mean, really, our keys to the game have been pretty spot on. I'm not going to lie. Not even to pat ourselves on the back or nothing. They've been pretty spot on. However, I'm so tempted to say the Raiders lose this game just in hopes they get that dub. You know what I mean? So, but, you know, I've got 27-23 Raiders. I think it's going to be a close game. I think both teams are going to be fighting tooth and nail. I think 27 is a good window there. You know, I could see the Raiders having success moving the ball, landing a couple field goals, which is why I have them sitting at 27.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is the score prediction. So 27-23 Raiders for Raider Ray, and Pharaoh's got it 27-20 for the Raiders. So everybody, go ahead.
So before we get into the answering some questions off the chat, like we've been doing this a couple times. Do you want to get some okay, you pick you had your prediction. Name a player of the game.
Okay.
If we win, who's the player of the game?
I am going to say I'm going to go completely out of left field. I'm going to say Chandler Jones with a crucial strip sack to kind of put a
Okay.
little bit of a silence on the on everybody that's kind of coming after him. I think Chandler Jones might show up this game.
I'm gonna go, and I know things are not looking good at the moment, but I think Josh Jacobs, hopefully he thugs it out and he makes it the game. I think he has a possible chance of being player of the game.
You think he plays?
It's possible. I mean, they haven't ruled him out. He's still questionable. He can still fly out to the game tomorrow. You know what I mean? I just think, man, I want him to play because this is such a big game, man. You can't miss this game, bro. You cannot miss this game, especially with the team that struggles against the run as much as the Tennessee Titans have shown this year. Like literally, they're like second to last in the league, and they're like letting running backs average 6.1 yards per carry. So if it's not Josh Jacobs, I guess I'm gonna have a left field one is Zeus.
If
But
we don't have
I don't want to say
Jacobs,
Zeus because it's just we don't know what the attack is going to look without Josh Jacobs back there. It's going to be.
if we don't have Josh, I think it makes this game that much harder.
I know.
It makes it that much harder because they have Derrick Henry. You know what I mean? This comes down to the little matchups. But Van City says we lose Sunday. I'm selling my tickets to the Seattle game. Yeah, so we might be able to beat Seattle. I don't know though. Alfredo says I'm still going to keep my tickets to Allegiant. At least you can hit the strip after a loss. But dude, that never feels good. You know, like everything I try to do after a loss, it doesn't necessarily feel good unless I'm spending time with my daughter or my wife or something. You know what I mean? I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go I'm gonna go play Madden. I go play Madden. I throw 2 picks. I'm like, this is terrible. It's so realistic. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is horrible.
Yeah.
Okay, so Raider Hockey Uncle says offensive mindset McDaniels versus defensive mindset Vrabel matchup. It'll be a chess match. I hope he plays chess. I mean, everybody's been talking about, McDaniels is going to be playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers. This dude has been playing Go Fish. He ain't even been playing close to chess. So I don't know, bro. I hope Josh McDaniels shows up.
Nah, facts. The coaching staff in general has been underwhelming to say the least, man. Like they haven't shown that they're that coaching staff that can compete with the Andy Reids in our division, like because we clearly got outcoached the first 2 games.
You got to address Van City, bro. That's for you.
You have Derek Carr scoring 27 points, Pharaoh. That's hey, man. Hey, look, if it's gonna be a game where we score 27 points or more, it's gonna be. I feel like this game is. If the defense does its job in stopping, Henry, I think that their defense has struggled all season. But like the previous comment said, like Vrabel, he's a defensive-minded coach. He has something up his sleeve. He's going to coach up these players. He's going to have them playing hard. He's probably going to tell them that stat like, hey, man, a team that goes 0-3, you know what I mean? I'm sure he's probably not. I'm not sure if they're going to bring that up, but
this just dropped into my brain. I need you to look this up. I need you to get on Google real quick. There's been something that I've noticed. When was the last time Derek Carr threw for 3 touchdowns? Because it's been consistently that he hasn't had a game overthrowing 2 passing touchdowns. That is a mark that needs to get broken.
Yep.
He has been consistently throwing 2 touchdowns a game for a long period of time now. So I would be curious to see what those numbers really are. It's obviously sometime to last season. It was just that's another aspect. Derek Carr has got to find a way to get back to those 3 touchdown games. Let's see here. While you're looking that up, I'm just going to read some stuff. McD has to have some pride against former player. He may put in an effort. We'll see. Ashley Trejo says Tennessee 17, Las Vegas 24. Running back Amir Abdullah. I like that. That's a little bit different. I try to make different takes as well. So I like that, Ashley.
So you ready for it?
Yep.
New York Jets. He threw 3 touchdowns and had 1 pick.
What week was that?
That was week 12. Week 12.
So you're talking 5 weeks plus the playoffs.
2020.
2020?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Last season,
he never.
I didn't look at it, but I felt like he didn't have a game that he had 3 touchdowns. But I'll just pull it up.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the whole season he didn't have not one game.
I'm pretty sure it's right, dude, because I remember watching that all last season. I was like, bro, Derek hasn't thrown for 3 touchdowns this season. Yeah, I remember blatantly thinking that. I'm pretty sure that's right, bro.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah,
that's
but
crucial. Nobody's talked about that. I don't know why I thought about that, but that is a huge aspect to look at.
yeah. Nah, he hasn't had a 3 touchdown game since 2020, a 4 touchdown game probably 2018 when he threw
Bro,
four
why?
touchdowns against the Pittsburgh Steelers or Cleveland Browns. You know what I mean? So it's yes, it's been a while. But to be fair, offensively, we've kind of been
Yeah, but come on. You got 3? I mean, we're talking about you're throwing it to you can't get a
yeah,
running back involved in the game.
yeah.
Like nothing, bro.
The reason why, like, it's not even just the weapons. What was John Gruden's weakness as an offensive minded coach, as a coach in general, like
Red zone.
the red zone. Red zone. Now, that being said, look, even without Derek Carr, John Gruden actually he was never good in the red zone. He was never a good short yardage guy. But that being said, I feel like you can also make an argument maybe Derek Carr is partly part of the reason why they've struggled in the red zone.
Mm.
You want to make that argument, that's a whole
Dude,
different
yeah.
conversation
I
for another
shouldn't have even
day.
brought it. It dropped into my brain and I was like, hold up.
But it's definitely been a while. But I think, hey man, the more he gets comfortable with his offense, I just feel like he needs to find that middle ground because I think that first game he got a little too aggressive. He went the thing is he went to the right places. Like Darren Waller was gonna be like literally running.
Yeah.
He was gonna be open. That where the ball was behind Darren Waller in the end zone should have been a touchdown. Was behind him. That deep ball to Adams touchdown. You know what I mean? It's just the NFL is a game of inches, and
Could you imagine a situation where Derek has all the weapons that he has this year and does not break that 3 touchdown mark?
yeah, like I said, this year is a make or break year for me, for Derek Carr.
Because I know I see Van City here because and Van, I'm gonna be real with you. I think it's a little bit of it's too far fetched right now. Like, and I say that I absolutely love Van City, but I mean I see these conversations even among YouTube content creation about potential quarterback replacements, and there's absolutely nobody that is gonna come into this offense this season that is gonna give you any type of success. None. You're not going to go out there and make a move and just plug them in, and it's just not going to happen. Derek Carr is the guy this season. I don't think Derek Carr is just trash. Okay, I do think I feel like has Derek Carr hit his ceiling? I don't know how much more can have we seen the best Derek Carr yet? My gut wants to say no because of the offensive situations, the red zone efficiency of Gruden's offense. All that being said. But I do think that elite quarterbacks find a way to get it done, and elite quarterbacks find a way to win football games. And I have to see that out of Derek Carr, and I can't put him in any type of category like that until I see it. And I like
No,
Derek Carr. I really do. I like Derek Carr a
I
lot.
agree. I agree. I think Derek Carr, he's a good QB. But the reason why I say this is a make or break year is because now he has the pieces offensively. Supposedly he has an offensive system that meshes with his talents. This is a make or break season. If we miss the playoffs and Derek Carr doesn't have a good year, I have like a hard time believing that we keep Derek Carr. I can see us going a different direction. If we don't make the playoffs and Derek Carr has a so-so year,
Yeah, I think that's the time, bro.
it's just it's a good opportunity for McDaniels to be like, you know what, you're a good guy, but we have to go a different direction.
And here's the thing. I don't think he gets traded, bro. I think he calls it a career. I think if Josh McDaniels goes to Derek Carr and says, hey, dude, we're looking to go on another direction, I genuinely think that Derek Carr will retire.
Yeah. But hey, that being said, I still believe that Derek Carr can get to it's game 2.
I know, dude. He can get it done.
It's game 2, and people are going
crazy, bro,
because their expectations are so high. Because on one side you have the the Carr fans that are like they overdo it with Derek Carr. Then you got the other side where they overdo it with Derek Carr, where they're saying, "Oh, he's the worst QB. He's not this, he's this." They're not even factoring that. Hey, you got to have a good coach. You have to have a good offensive-minded coach. You got to have weapons. It takes. If you look at all the top QBs, look at their supporting cast, and When I say supporting cast, I mean defense. I mean the receivers. Look at Herbert. Herbert, he's one of the
Herbert,
best QBs.
Allen.
But they all have great supporting cast. Even
Right.
when Derek Carr was 2016, when they were like, you know what I mean? Derek Carr was putting up numbers.
Thing.
He had Amari Cooper, Michael Crabtree, and on defense he had Khalil Mack. Even though their defense was like shaky, it was like what, top 20.
Yeah,
it wasn't top 15ish.
But they were able to create turnovers. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So that's what kind of like, you know what, I still believe in Derek Carr, but I just feel like he hasn't grasped the offense. They haven't put it together. He just needs to find a balance. I want Derek Carr to be aggressive. I do not want him to be that timid passer. You know what I mean? I do not want him to, because Derek Carr is at his best when he's aggressive.
Right.
He's at his best.
Well, when he's aggressive and understands the offense,
what's going on. Yeah.
You know, like I agree with that 110%. But when he's aggressive and he's thinking, I don't like that.
When he's aggressive and he's thinking and his accuracy is not all the way there,
I'd rather you take what the defense is giving you at that point. I want check down Carr back. That's what I want.
Check down Carr. Oh my God. Check down Carr with Davante Adams on the outside, Darren Waller wide open.
Hey, at that point, if you're going to check down Carr, put Davante Adams in that Cordell Patterson role. Check it down to him all day. I'll take it.
We're saying all this, but Derek Carr had like over 250 yards and 2 touchdowns the first half against the Cardinals. Like, it was literally, we're on our way to a blowout. But
dude, if there was a game to get 3 touchdowns, the Cardinals game was it. And you complete the second half, bro. I mean,
yeah,
250 and 2 touchdowns. Like, bro, we were literally talking, exchanging messages. Like, bro, this is what we thought it was supposed to be.
Yeah. No, it's gonna happen. It's definitely gonna happen. Derek Carr. If it doesn't happen, I'll be surprised, bro. Like this, I'll be the most shocked as a Raider fan if Derek Carr doesn't end up having a great year this year. The Raiders missing the playoffs. To be honest with you, you know what I mean. Like
it falls. And honestly, I'm gonna keep us accountable too as content creators. You know what I mean? Because there is a lack of accountability, and I do think there is an aspect of the nation is so disgruntled about this whole Derek Carr situation too, because of what kind of offseason we had, you know, and the amount of hype that we pumped. I mean, I have never seen more hype out of Raiders content being promoted this offseason than ever before. Usually, you know, we're always really high on the Raiders. Every offseason is confident. That I'm not saying any of that. But what I'm saying is man, we really put DC, Davante, we put this offense in the top 3 immediately. You know what I mean? We didn't let these guys go out there, work, earn it, nothing, bro. We just put these guys in the limelight. Like, this offense is guaranteed to be in the top 3, and it's not even close. How can you guard Waller? How can you guard Renfro? How can you guard Davante? By getting after Derek Carr. That's how you can do it. You don't have to guard him, you know? So, So, I mean, I want to be accountable too. You know, the second that me and you and everybody else can't be accountable for the things that we say and the type of hype that, because let's be honest, this platform is powerful. You know what I mean? And you could stir up a lot of emotions in a fan base by giving a message over and over and over and over. And I believe that me as well, we kind of bought into that hey, the Raiders had the best offseason in 20 years. But if it doesn't translate to wins, man, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. But hey, I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel. I'm going to give you the facts, but also I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm going to be just as shocked as you are. You know what I mean? I was definitely surprised that we coached the way, like the Josh McDaniels game plan against the Chargers. I was definitely shocked by it.
Right.
But we lost by 5 points. Like, we could easily be 2-0. And if they just made minor little adjustments, you know what I mean, at the end of the day, like if they ran the ball a little bit more against the Chargers, maybe that'd have been one less turnover possibly. You know what I mean? But that was a loss on Derek Carr. I'm not even talking about that game. Last game was definitely a game where we should have won. But this is a game that we can easily get us on the map, because once we get in that win column, it's going to give this team confidence. You know what I mean? It's gonna give him a whole lot of confidence. And I still think they're confident. Come on, like Derek Carr, when he in his press conference this week, when he's talking about Josh McDaniels, like he believes in Josh McDaniels. Like when he talks about Josh McDaniels, like he's talking about this is a guy that's coached in so many playoff games, won Super Bowls. So I think Josh McDaniels has a lot of respect in that locker room just based off where he's coming from, but he still has a lot to prove as a head coach.
Well, with you talking about the press conference, I'm reading this comment. It says Carr was laughing at the presser this week, like we ain't 2-0, like ain't no type of Mamba mentality. How do you feel about that?
You know what? That you're looking. So for me, you're looking too much into it. I think that's just you're looking too much into it. I know we're pissed that our team is like 0-2, but at the end of the day, like
he don't have to get up there and pout. You know what I mean? You don't have to get up there and be like, I want to get back to winning football. Like, bro, they know in this building that we have to go out there and win a football game. This is what they've done their whole life. You know, this isn't the first time Derek Carr's lost 2 back-to-back games. You know what I mean? You got to go back to work. You're 0-0 this week, and you got to go find a way to get a win. I don't need Derek Carr up there with, you know, the classic Instagram photo going around of him on the sideline where, you know, Mamba mentality or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I think this is looking too much into it.
Snoop says, gentlemen, if DC4 tanks this season, does Ziegler let him go and save $110 million? Would you give Lamar Jackson the money?
Ooh, but Lamar Jackson ain't leaving the Baltimore Ravens. Like that's
you
not
don't think?
I don't think that happens. I don't know. I don't know if the Raiders go after Lamar Jackson. Not that I don't believe in Lamar Jackson. I think I like Lamar Jackson. I think
I like Lamar, but
I think he's one of the best QBs. But Josh McDaniels loves pocket passers. That's the quarterback that he wants. So if he's going to go after a QB, the way this team is set up, I could easily see this is the other side. This is the plan B. Like you said, the Raiders are not planning for Derek Carr to leave. But if it doesn't work out, they have a little bit of wiggle room where they can draft a QB, a young QB, and have a situation where you have a young QB with a talented team around him. That could happen. That's another route. Look at the Chargers. Justin Herbert is on a rookie. He's on his rookie deal. That's why the Chargers are so talented, is because they can pay all these guys all these big contracts because Justin Herbert hasn't signed his crazy $500 million deal, however much it's going to be when it's time for him to sign his contract.
Yeah, I could see Lamar leaving Baltimore. The fact that he's denied a contract, I don't think that it'd be a good fit with Josh McDaniels, though. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, like, I don't think it's a good fit. But you think he could leave? You think he's going to leave Baltimore?
I think he could. I really do.
They're going to let him walk?
I don't think it's like them letting him walk. I think that they're willing to pay him. But what it sounds like to me, from what I've been reading into it, it's like Lamar is his own agent. I don't know if a lot of people know that. Lamar's his own agent. And
right.
To me, if he doesn't want to be in Baltimore and he wants to go hit that open market and have a choice to where he wants to go and play football, I mean, I think a lot of players do want to experience free agency. You know, I've listened to a lot of players talk about it, that it's just a different type of experience. You know what I mean? Like people calling you, they want you, a new fresh start. You're getting a bunch of money. It's a whole experience. And if Lamar has the opportunity, I mean, dude, how long has he been going to bat for the Baltimore Ravens? You know what I mean? Are the Baltimore Ravens better right now?
Yeah. I mean, we don't know what's going on in like the negotiation table, but like I've heard the rumors about like, Baltimore is not offering as much guaranteed money as much as, let's say, like Cleveland offered Deshaun Watson, for example. So Lamar's kind of like, he's betting on himself. He's like, hey, I could definitely get this crazy amount that QBs are going to be always breaking. They're always breaking records. Every year, contracts are always breaking records, especially with QBs. So, man, so far, Lamar's starting the season on fire. So
I could see, okay, this is what I really could see. I could see another restructuring contract with them keeping Derek Carr, and he signs, because there's no guaranteed money after this year. So all it was essentially, I know it was a 3-year contract extension, but really what it was a 1-year deal. That's what it was. And the 3 years added on freed up some cap space. So I could see them signing him to a similar contract to what he just signed. And I could see them drafting a quarterback in the first round. That's because this next draft is loaded with talent.
Look. Ziegler, when negotiating with the Green Bay Packers, he did not want to give up a first round or second round pick next year.
Exactly.
To get Devontae Adams. he was okay with sacrificing this year's draft, which we gave basically a first round pick, second round pick. In my opinion, was a great deal for the Raiders. But it kind of sets him up a little bit, like if things don't work out. This is just if things don't work out, you'll have that ability to like, hey, if things don't work out with Derek Carr,
and hey, you're like, look, Derek Carr had a type of season. Maybe give him a second year under McDaniel's system, but we're going to draft a guy for the future because Derek Carr is in his 30s. And look, I could honestly see the Raiders taking a quarterback in the first round.
But
so.
hey, you know what? I think it's going to work out with Derek Carr. I think it's going to work out. I think it's 2 games. 2 games. Let's just relax.
I know. I shouldn't have even let it get that far, but
I know, but it's 2 games. It's relax. I understand, but I think it's going to work out. Like, you're telling me Derek Carr is not going to have a good season with all these weapons? Like, I know it's off to a shaky start, slow start. But hey, look, if the first half of that Cardinals game told you anything, like, hey, look, like, it can work. Can work.
Good. I agree with you. But
they
hey,
just haven't played a complete game yet. That's the only thing.
And look, we're gonna keep receipts too, because once this does start to click, and Derek Carr, hopefully he gets past that 2 touchdown mark. Say this offense clicks and DC goes out there, throws for 4 touchdowns, and we finally finish somebody.
Damn, bro. Like, but there is the other side.
That's a crazy stat, bro. That's crazy.
And then look, put it this way too. There is the other side where I just look at like Justin Herbert and I look at Derek Carr and I'm like, damn, the talent difference is it's
there, bro.
It's big. It's huge. Like Justin Herbert is just like, damn, like,
and this is coming from,
you go ahead.
And it's coming from somebody I really do like DC. I'm not going to say he's perfect. I'm not always going to go to bat for him. I'm always going to be a realist and criticize his game where it needs to be criticized because it's obvious. But dude, the gap now is just starting to separate a little bit.
Because Derek Carr, where he could win is being that cerebral quarterback, being accurate. He does have a good arm, reading the defense, just being a smart QB, and just and if you build a team where it's weapons, he'll rip you apart. Like we know, like he can do that. But when it doesn't work, it's like, where does his room for error is like, damn, like if you're not an effective passer, which he kind of has had like an inconsistent start to the season, it's like, oh man, it's tough.
But in the same breath, we're like, oh, the talent between Justin Herbert and Derek Carr. We did lose by 5 points and had every opportunity to go out there.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Week 17 or whatever it was, 18 last year.
But that's probably what they probably are telling themselves, but I don't want to live in that realm, like with that woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
Like, hey, handle your business right there and then. Like, take care of business, right? What is it right now? The Raiders are a 0-2 team right now, and they need to figure out how to win on Sunday, and I think they can, but it's frustrating to watch because you're like, oh my God, like, we have the better team. We have these receivers. We have this running back that's looking like he's one of the best running backs in the league right now. He looks like in supreme shape. He came. This is a contract year for Josh Jacobs. Why are we not giving him the ball? Like, why, as a coach, are you not recognizing a guy that's super motivated, that's in crazy good shape, and you're not using that to your advantage? Like, hey, like, if you're not going to sign Josh Jacobs, why don't you give him the ball?
I mean, feed him.
Like, and it's like, I don't know. I think is it the arrogance? Like, I got all these weapons. I believe in Derek Carr. I feel like, but hey, Derek Carr is still adjusting to this offense. I'm very interested. Hey, this is a game where it's a big game, obviously a playoff type field, just because I brought up that stat, 2.6% chance of winning or going to the playoffs. If you're a 0-3 team. But it's going to be really interesting how Josh McDaniels coaches this game. I want to see if he can outcoach. Then I'm going to be back on. Then we're going to be talking. We're going to be talking our shit, Raider Nation. Then I'm going to be really excited. But if it's going to be one of those games, even if they win, where I feel like Josh McDaniels could have been better in certain areas, I'm going to be looking at it like, is this going to work against the Chiefs?
And here's the thing: the Raiders also, we're always talking about like, hey, they could go 1-3, but look, the Raiders could honestly consistently, if they can win this football against the Titans and generate momentum right at the right time, then you got the Broncos. You go into that Chiefs game at 2-2, with coming off a 2-game winning streak, and you're kind of feeling yourself a little bit. Raiders have a chance. They have a chance. Now, Chiefs are a scary matchup, and we'll dive into them when we get to dive into them. But look, you go to 0-2, and it's the bad rough start that we've had. If you can go in here, you beat Tennessee, then you build a momentum and you beat a division rival in the Denver Broncos, and you go into that Kansas City game with some momentum behind you. I'm just saying.
Look, hey, this is gonna sound crazy, but I'm okay with losing to the Chiefs. Like if we lose to the Chiefs, but we played them tough, I'll take that as a win. We go into the bye. We're 2-3. Obviously, we should have a better record than that. But if we lose this week, even if we win Denver and then we go into KC, it's just gonna be it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. But I'm not even put in that direction. I feel like the Raiders are gonna win this week. I feel like we're gonna get to the Broncos when we get there. Stay tuned for that preview show. But looking at the Broncos, they look terrible, man.
Hey, look, and all 53 of you guys, before we wrap this up, go over, smash the like button, go subscribe to Pharaoh, subscribe to me. We broke 1,000 subscribers tonight, so everybody in the chat, Raider Nation, shout out to you. Shout out to the entire chat that everybody decided to pull up, man. We had a great, fantastic show. We actually went longer than we anticipated, but hey, when we get to talking and it's a good conversation, it is what it is. We hope you guys enjoyed the show. It helps us a ton, you guys. When after this show ends, you guys go over into the video and drop some comments, because the algorithm is absolutely real. So if all 50 of you guys could just take this conversation and chop it up, there's 55 of you now. If you guys can all go smash the like button, chop it up in the comment section after the video drops, it is a huge help to me. Again, shout out to the chat. Shout out to Pharaoh NFL. Shout out to the Raiders, man. Let's go out here and get a huge win against the Tennessee Titans. Let's get the momentum moving in the right direction. Let's head into this Denver Broncos game with a win and maybe create some momentum. That way, when we get to the Chiefs, we could sit at 2-2 and potentially try to fight for a win at Kansas City and go into the bye week with a winning record. It would be huge for this organization. Pharaoh, do you have any type of closing remarks?
Hey, man, man, hey, Raider Nation, man, like it's not the end of the world. No. We're just keeping it real. We're going to talk about what teams are going to bring to the table, but obviously we're going to keep it real with you with the Raiders and how they're struggling. But at the same time, I feel like we're going to win this weekend. It's going to be a tough game. And hey, man, make sure to check me out, man. Pharaoh NFL. You can find me anywhere on social media, but make sure, most importantly, go check out my channel, Pharaoh NFL, PHAROAH NFL. Go and subscribe. I've been dropping a lot of content. Well, a couple of videos this week, and obviously me and Ray have been going live damn near every week. We switch it up. This week is on his channel. Next week is going to be on my channel, so stay tuned for that.
Awesome. Well, everybody, I appreciate you guys for tuning in with us. Spinning Friday with Pharaoh and Raider Ray. We appreciate each and every single one of you. We love each and every single one of you. And until next time, Raider Nation, just win, baby.